We have some, I think, very nice videos from ESA that show how a satellite is put into orbit. So essentially we have a launcher in which the satellite is carried, so it's at the top part. And this launcher is gonna bring the satellite into orbit and leave it there. And once the satellite is there, it's gonna continue going around Earth and make observations. Now, how do they make observations? Essentially, we have two types of satellites. We have passive and active satellites. Passive means that the satellite is taking pictures the same way, more or less, as you take pictures with a camera of what is underneath him. And in doing so is effectively collecting back the light that is reflected by the Earth's surface that is originally coming from the sun. So it's going to register the properties of the light, and it can have actually multiple cameras to cover a bigger area and to increase the resolution. But you have to think, when it comes to resolution, actually, that these satellites are, okay, quite far from the Earth, but the Earth is very big. So in terms of resolution, actually, they are not extremely high. What can be higher is actually active satellites, which are basically radar satellites mostly. I think most of you will be familiar with how a radar works. It's sending pulses, echoes, signals towards the Earth. So it's actively sending something. And then it's looking at the signal that gets back. It's like bouncing a ball over a surface. Depending on how the ball backs back to you, you can understand a bit how the surface is, and you can understand its properties. And this is what happens with radar satellites. And because they send radar signals, they can send really high precision ones with incredibly high frequencies, and they can have extremely detailed analysis of the Earth's surface. And this can be much better in terms of resolution, let's say, than passive satellites. The drawback of that is that you have a smaller area covered, or that you need a lot of repetitions to cover the entire surface. So a big topic when it comes to satellite is always trying to balance the resolution with the global coverage, because this is one of the big advantages of satellites is the fact that we can monitor the entire Earth more or less at the same time, whereas with local stations, you would always have only a dot at a very specific point in the map. And you can have a lot of dots, but you will never be able to cover completely the Earth as you can with a satellite.